Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nikki Antoine and today we'll be doing a lunar framework session for the moon, actually, as it transitions into the sign of Scorpio. So formerly we were in the crescent moon in Libra, which was asking us to sit in a range of emotion that is not, it's not very pleasant. It's not very pleasant at all. It was characterized as having a lot of sadness in it, perhaps even grieving something that is no longer present. And the purpose of that was to understand that the range of the range of emotion that we were existing in that space has we have the capability to be able to shift that range. And the understanding of that was actually coming through in our relationships with other people. So relationships like essentially being able to lean on your friends during times when you're not feeling too great, and in doing so it like brings you into a more elevated state of emotion, so to where the highs and the lows are not experienced as dramatic. It's like just to take that whole, instead of like lifting the range up and still experiencing the same lows, instead of doing that, it's just lift all of it up. Yeah, so that's where we were formally. And as the moon has increased in energy, we're gaining a lot more momentum. We're finding ourselves in the first quarter. Now, the first quarter tends to represent some challenges that we're going to be facing. So, of course, we're we're taking action on those intentions that we had set in the new moon. And in this moment in time, there's there usually is some type of challenge, an initial challenge that shows up to really just make sure, it's like making sure that we actually want it. So it's like having to push past that challenge energy. And the irony here is actually that it's in Scorpio. So you might find there are a lot of emotional triggers that might be happening at this time. But they seem to be something that is not, it's like, it's it's coming through as like it's not really a big deal. It's coming through as something that can actually be easily overcome, and when it does, it's like that transition happens automatically. So another interesting point is that this first quarter in Virgo, not in Virgo, in Scorpio, is happening at the cusp of the end of Leo season and the beginning of Virgo season. So it's even in the planetary, the cosmic system that we are moving along in, it's like everything is pushing forward into that direction. So it seems as though we're kind of gonna it's like we're catching a wave, we're catching a ride, something along those lines. Okay, so let's see how this first quarter, how is this first quarter in the sign of Scorpio? How is it going to show up in our lives? What is it going to trigger? What's the underlying energy for its presence, really? Let's see. So we've got this Palomino that's showing up here. And this is coming through as that action, that initial action that is taken. It's the initial like galloping towards your goal. It's all of the actions that you're wanting to take to move forward, and that initial like point of that first step, really, actually, it's referring to the first step, and is that first step is so important because it's going to help it's going to help to shine a spotlight on you. The Palomino is often an energy that, well, it stands out against the darkness. It's something that it's very noticeable. So your first step in taking action towards whatever you wanted to manifest on the new moon, it's being noticed. You're being noticed. And there's something about that it's like in the noticing of that, that's almost what triggers that challenge that's coming up, the challenge that I'm feeling. And then we've got the Strength card. And this is just acting as a reminder that you've got the strength to overcome this obstacle when it presents itself. It's presenting itself as like an emotional trigger, especially with all that scorpionic energy. Perhaps maybe something that happens in the night under the cover of darkness. With scorpionic energy that can sometimes refer to maybe like nightmares. Okay, so let's see what we have. This is gorgeous. All right, let's see what we have for the underlining energy in the first quarter in Scorpio. All right, okay, beautiful. Six of Cups. All right, so the underlining energy here, the supportive element to this first quarter in Scorpio is actually understanding the differences between all of us as something that is, it's like the differences, the things that set us apart are the beautiful things that can actually like influence us to move forward along our trajectory. It's referring to perhaps maybe there is someone that is familiar to you. Perhaps maybe they look different from you. On the surface, there's a lot of differences, but you actually do the same things. It's like, both of these children look very different, but they're both playing, right? So they're both doing a very similar thing. And they could be doing it maybe like in a different way, a different style, a different approach, something like that. So the supportive element here in the underlining energy is looking at perhaps maybe someone else's process and understanding that it is very different from yours, and using whatever you're learning from them to like be able to apply it to your own situation. So it's interesting because it's like that might be, it's like you might actually be seeing someone else have a little bit more perhaps like success in whatever they're doing, and that is what's triggering, perhaps maybe that's what's triggering you. And it's like, instead of looking at it as something that is causing an emotional upset, it's actually informing you of perhaps maybe a new approach that you need to take with your own sense, with your own style, with your own sense of play, with the things that you find yourself enjoying. Okay. It's very interesting because in that first crescent in Libra, we were in the Five of Cups, and now we're coming into the Six of Cups. And it's kind of referring to, it's like the one that perhaps is presenting themselves as very different to you. They have some type of information that would help to lift your spirits. and pull you into a sense of play. Perhaps their approach is actually more playful than yours. Okay. So then let's see the bridging energy. The bridging energy that is going to help move us into the next phase. So let's see, the bridging energy, that's that's very funny because it's the world card, you know, the next phase, the next level, the next place that we find ourselves is the world. So the world, I mean, it is like a bridge. Oh, this is gorgeous. I'm just noticing how like we have these two children and this maternal, it's like a maternal figure, very feminine, very womanly. So the bridge that is going to help us move into this next phase, into this next world, into the new place that we will find ourselves, perhaps even maybe into the new season, the Virgo season. There is a maternal energy that is acting as a space. It's acting as a space holder. I often see the world as like, for me, the world always comes through almost like a 0 point. So it's providing the space in order for this underlining energy to rise to the surface. And it's in that space that then will help us as a collective to be able to make that transition, to make that movement into a new space, a new world that we would like to see for ourselves. It's a new approach. That's gorgeous. It's definitely giving me like a Gaia, like a mother Earth, Gaia energy. It's like Gaia herself is providing the space in order for all of these differences that we find amongst ourselves to be displayed like beautifully, actually, almost like it's giving me like a spectrum, like a rainbow spectrum, and each color being something that, yes, they're all different from each other, but they're also uniquely balanced and equally contributing to the entire sense of the rainbow. It's very beautiful. It's like Gaia and all her children. It's really lovely. Okay, so what is the overall energy? Oh my God. The overall energy, this is so gorgeous. The overall energy for this first quarter in Scorpio is the other world card. So I have two world cards in this deck. And this is just, it's absolutely stunning. It's like, so the other world card here is presenting as the overall energy, and it's coming through with a sense of rejoicing, a rejoicing in all, and like, it's like all the people. There's a moment here in this first quarter where each of us individually is going to come to an understanding that all of the people in our lives, regardless of the triggers that they may be, like poking at or prodding at within us, maybe not even necessarily like on purpose or anything, but it's like all of that adds to the experience of what this entire world is. It's a learning experience. And instead of seeing it as like something that you have to like study in, because in the traditional tarot, all of these These are actually, Scorpio's on here too. Scorpio's the eagle. All of these fixed signs, they're in study. They're in a learning process. But there's something here that it's like our own viewpoint of this is moving from a sense of learning into play. It's like transitioning our understanding from learning and just seeing it as something that you're playing. There's a playful element here that's wanting to be added. And it's like whatever that playful element is helping to alleviate those triggers and also transition. Remember how we were talking about that range of emotion? It's like that's what's helping to transition that lower range of emotion into a higher range with adding the element of a sense of play through the discovery of our differences and the different approaches that we all take on life. That's gorgeous. All right. Enjoy this first quarter in Scorpio and also the upcoming season in Virgo.